Back with you on the news feed PM. Thanks for staying on. Well, TB Day, observed annually on the 24th of March, is, of course, a day in which the focus falls on this disease. Tuberculosis is a disease caused by bacteria that usually affects the lungs and respiratory system. TB is contagious because it spreads through the air when someone with TB sneezes or spits. And for more on this, we're joined now by Mabalane Mfundisi, Executive Director of Show Me Your Number. Good to have you, sir, and thank you very much for your time. It's said that global efforts and awareness in the fight against tuberculosis since 2000 has saved some 79 million lives. However, drastic and abrupt cuts in global health funding, which of course is happening in South Africa and everywhere else, is threatening to reverse those gains. How bad is the situation?
Well, in other countries, it's much bad and worse than in South Africa. Just at the top, the South African government has been spending over 74% of our HIV and TB spend has been coming from the government. The American contribution was 17%. 17% is a lot of money. However, even in the engagement that we had yesterday, we had a SANAC, South African National AIDS Council plenary commitment from the Minister of Health and Government and the Department of Treasury is for them to look for resources from other areas to ensure that that gap is actually not left, open. So we have the wherewithal, we have the conviction to do what we need to do. What is telling is that the Minister of Health was minister in 2017. So the American ambassador of PEPFAR had actually said to them at that time, and it's something that he did not like very much because it hit a raw nerve, was that why should we be coming from so far away come and deal with the problem that you face on a daily basis? So this withdrawal, although not expected, it's actually a wake-up call that we need to take charge and do things for ourselves. 74% is a lot, but it is still not adequate. And we do have some resources that can invest in this problem. Yeah. Other countries have also been waking up from their slumber, because if we have to look after our own people as different governments, we have to look at our own resources.
Speaking of other countries, I mean, the theme, of course, is, yes, we can beat TB, but it's focusing on three areas: commitment, investment, and delivery. Let's look at commitment. You're speaking of other countries. Is there a commitment still from other countries based on the commitments that they've made previously to certainly bolster and boost the work and accelerate the work that the globe has been doing, but also South Africa in particular has been doing around this disease?
Yeah, no, the commitment from the spending on TB and HIV has actually not been there. It has to be upped. We can't politic about this. You are not putting the resources where they are supposed to be. You need to change your ways so that you are able to take charge of the problems that you are saying people must vote for. All politicians want people to vote for them, and in their manifestos, irrespective of which country, the first thing that they put out there is to look after people's health. Because if those people are not there, who's going to vote for those politicians? So it must not just be speak, it must be supported by action.
Diagnostic services, human resources, and so on and so forth, data that we are collecting, surveillance that we are conducting. How is South Africa faring?
Well, South Africa has, access, and that access is in terms of the public health system is in the doldrums, and the private healthcare has actually more than what it requires. Hence, the implementation of the national health insurance. Others are looking at it as if it is something that's going to change the status quo. Indeed, it is going to change the status quo because it's going to be an equalizer. If we utilize the resources that we have, then we're going to make the strides we need to have. Yesterday, the minister was telling us about government employees. A judge president is an employee of government because they earn their salary from the president, the deputy president, the ministers, all of those earn their money from government. And government spends over 70 billion, I think that's the number he put, in terms of subsidizing healthcare for those particular people. They have what they call various medical aids. commemorate. They have gems that is, eating the money that the state is spending. And his words was that those of us who are getting this particular service can actually afford it ourselves, so that we take that burden out of the state. So everyone wants to have healthcare when they need it, but those who get it are those that have the resources. We need to change that. We need to radically shift the way we do things and ensure that there is that equalization, so that all of us can actually live a long and healthy life through the technical resource that we have. We have the best specialists in this country, but they are mainly concentrated in the private health space where money comes first, but in the public health space, they are not there. We need to change this. It is not consistent with what the freedom fighters that gave us this freedom that we enjoy wanted it to be. And we have that. We will have one country. We must look after it. We must look after its people.
You are involved as, of course, Show Me Your Number in the community engagement efforts, a part of this fight against tuberculosis, using sport and other activities to create awareness and, of course, engage communities in the fight against HIV and tuberculosis. Is that space deteriorating? What are the threats to that space? And how are we doing as far as getting communities a little bit more active in this fight?
At best, what is needed is the resources, and the resources are to ensure that we use what we have to get the best outcomes. Now, but resources are not just money. Resources are also our ability to do the things that we need to do when we can be able to do those. So part of what we do, like I am in a car, I am in a community in Gamalake. We are using sports. Sunday afternoon, teams have been playing. So you give them what they want. They want to play netball, they want to play soccer, but you bring health services to their doorstep. Because sometimes people are not able to go to access health services. But we don't provide that health service. We got government to provide the service, because the clinics, it's a Sunday, and normally people in government facilities don't work on weekends. But there is a need for us to ensure that the person who works Monday to Saturday is provided with the resource that they need, which is to be provided with healthcare. So joining efforts, joining hands together ensures that government, through provision of healthcare services, is able to do what it needs, and us as community members, we need to do what we need to do. If I just put it bluntly, all of us wants to wake up in the morning and feel good. What is the first thing that we want to do? Is to brush our teeth. It is to bath and feel good and feel fresh. And that's how and what healthcare services should be. Because if we're all healthy, and when we are having challenges, we're able to get it, that's what needs to happen for us to have South Africa that is a good place for all of us. So as community organizations, as Show Me Your Number, we do what we do. Whilst we are here, others, there were traditional health practitioners that had gathered because they speak about their things and things that they need to do. They were joined by the traditional leaders, because when we do these things at the street level, at the house level, then we are able to put into good use what is called primary healthcare service, so that we don't just want a doctor as the only person that can fix our problems. We need to do the basics and do them right, and then everything else will take care of itself. But if a person needs tertiary service in terms of going for an operations or things like that, they should be available, and those that have the technical capacity to provide them must be available as well.
Mabalane Mfundisi, I appreciate your time. Executive Director of Show Me Your Number on World TB Day and interventions being put in place.